What is up, everyone? We're finally back. I know it's been a while, but we're finally here. So, what we got today is we got a box. Big box from FCP Euro. Haven't even opened it yet. Saved it for you guys. Gonna be doing a little bit of maintenance on Jess's 2014 Mercedes-Benz C300. She's got the 4MATIC Sport Edition with the AMG package. So she's got the, let's see here. She's got the red stitching on all the seats here, the red seat belts, red stitching on the wheel, the AMG wheels. Nice package. So the cool thing about this car is they made it so you could open the hood all the way and take the motor out without removing the hood. This thing's dirty. Let's see what we got here. That was a crappy cup. Thank you, FCP Euro, for my Christmas wrap this year. Oh, boise. So we got 6 coils. We got 6 spark plugs. We got a throttle body O-ring. We got intake plenum gaskets. Maybe a valve cover gasket or transmission fluid gasket. Trans filter. Tranny fluid, an air filter. Thank you. I appreciate that. I was struggling. So, now that we're unboxed, we got lots of parts. I'm going to have to figure out what half of them go to. So first thing I'm going to start with is we're going to start by changing the oil in the filter. Real quick, easy maintenance stuff. So first I started by taking this plate off on the bottom. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 8mm bolts. Might have to pull a light out for you guys 1 second. Oh, you can kind of see it down here. So I pulled that plate off right here to access the oil drain plug. And then, see where that dripping oil is? It's a 13mm drain bolt right over there. And then we come up top here, and the oil filter's right there. So we're going to swap that out quick and go from there. So we got our new filter on there, on the housing. We replaced the gasket here. Old one's right there. New one on the housing. I'll screw that back on, nice and easy. So I popped the drain plug back in. Gonna pop the oil in now. Takes 7.5 quarts if I'm not mistaken. Going with some Mobil 1 040. Full synthetic. Let's try some Jimmy Oaks challenge here. Oh. I spilled some, that's for sure. Oh, I'm spilling everywhere. Yeah, I need to clean that for sure. Jimmy Oaks clearly does it better than I do. It's alright. We'll clean that up. Alright guys, so now that I had ran the car and topped the oil off, we're going to reset the maintenance light. And to do that, we're going to turn the ignition to the first click. And then you're going to go to your mileage screen. And you're going to press the call button. And within 1 second, press the OK button as well. And it should bring you to this screen right here. So from there, we are going to go to Assist Plus, Full Service, Confirm Full Service, Yes, Confirm, and that will reset your maintenance light. So next we're going to start by doing the spark plugs. What I did over here was I started by taking the air filter off. There was 3, I want to say T25 Torx screws that held this on. And you disconnect it from over here, and then it will pop out of there. Boom. That's out of there. So next I started by taking the 2 E10 inverted Torx bit bolts that were there. Take those off. I disconnected the sensor right here. Took this hose out, and now I'm starting to take all the throttle body spacer bolts off to get that off, and from there we're going to continue taking this back. We're going to remove that upper intake plenum, and from there we're going to start doing our coils and spark plugs. Alright guys, so what I did was I took the 4 T25 Torx screws out that hold the throttle body spacer and the throttle body themselves off. At that point, this was sitting in there like this. I had pulled this out of the upper intake plenum. The old gasket is right here. That holds this inside of there. Gives a little bit of a, gotta give it a little wiggle and tickle to get it out of there. So next thing was I took the small Torx screws out right here, covering the little V6 plate. And that reveals these 2 holes right here with, if you could see down in there, there's 2 E10 Torx bolts, and then there's also 2 in the rear, 1 where this hole is and 1 where that hole is. Once you take all 4 of those off, this becomes loose enough where you could take it off after you disconnect all your connectors and your vacuum lines, etc. So we're going to pop that off now. Alright, so we disconnected a couple vacuum lines over here. If you want to take a peek over here, disconnected the electrical connector there, disconnected the clip on the bottom here, and got it off of the mount there. And after we did that, I had to remove this T25 screw right here to get, there we go, to get this line right here off that connects down there. So once you get that off, you can pull the upper plenum off. And now we are able to access everything to get to our spark plugs on both sides. This side looks like it's going to be a little bit of a toughie, but we'll get it done. I got new gaskets for that on the bottom of the plenum if you look right here. All those gaskets, got new ones. To start doing the spark plugs, we're going to take the connectors off of the ignition coils, I believe they are. To do that, you have to push this tab back, and then should be able to push down and pull it right off. You do that for these 3, and then after that we have to remove the 2 E10 inverted Torxes on each ignition coil, and then we'll pull those out and get to the spark plugs. E8, not E10. Next, we should be able to pull these right out. Give it a wiggle and a tickle, guys, and she'll come right out. Ready? Wiggle and tickle. And a wiggle and a tickle. Alright, so I noticed that the spark plugs, I thought it was a 5/8, but the spark plugs are a little bit different. If you can see there, it's like a 12 point or something, but a 15 millimeter fits it. So we're going to use the 15, and we're going to get those out now. I'm going to start it with a regular ratchet, being I don't know if it's going to work all that well. Okay, yeah, I'm confident about it. Let's get that impact. Yuck. It even got a Mercedes logo on the spark plug. That's how you know they've never been done. We're going with the Bosch double iridium R1s. Just gonna double check compared to the old one.
It really doesn't want to focus.
Okay. So we're gonna pop these in each hole and tighten them up. Start them by hand, make sure they don't cross thread. You never want to cross thread it on your head. Got our new coils, Baru from Germany, FCP Euro. They know the deal. I'm sure they got the good stuff. So I have to pop this in like so. Make sure they're all on there good. Now to put the bolts back in for the ignition coils, and then we'll jump onto the other side, which looks like a little bit more of a PIA. So I'm going to leave it off here tonight. I changed the left side spark plugs and coil packs. Tomorrow I'm going to jump on this side over here and do these. I got all the bolts out already, but I'm going to hold it off for tonight. It's 10 o'clock. I got work early, so we'll start from here tomorrow. Oil change is done. Half the spark plugs are done. Just got the other half of the spark plugs and a training fluid change, and throw the new air filter in, and she'll be ready to rip. Alright guys, we're back. It's the next day. Where we left off yesterday was I had finished doing the spark plugs in the ignition coils, or coil packs, whatever you want to call them, on the left side. I had just on the right side. It was a lot more of a pain than the other side, let me tell you. I had to move the ECU out of the way. Obviously I disconnected the battery and everything before I did that. And then I also had to move this little plate here, which sits right about there, so I could access the center hole on this side for the spark plug, and swap those out. Now it's just a matter of putting everything back together. So let's get it done. So I got that whole side back together, ECU's back in place, everything else, all connectors on, all that's good to go. Next we're going to come over to our upper plenum. I had already taken out all the old gaskets, and now we're going to replace them with some new ones. So what I ended up doing was I ended up taking off the gaskets off of the upper plenum, and I actually put them onto the intake manifold and then put the plenum on. So now we're here. Got that one vacuum line in the back hooked back up. All the little other doodads plugged back in. Tightened up. Now I just got to tighten the actual 4, 2 in the front, or 2 in the middle, 2 in the rear. Tighten those up and go from there. So I never got to tell you guys, but the Z didn't need to go for a tune. All the computers just had to reset, and I drove it to work the next day and it was fine. Still gonna go for a tune though, hopefully get a couple more horsepower. When's that exhaust coming in for the Miata, babe?
I don't know, they're still not in stock.
Replacing the throttle body gasket. And just like that, it's finally back together. Threw a new air filter in, buttoned everything up. So now to start the car and hope no check engine lights are on. So now that I got it all put back together and everything, if I did everything right, that's the big if, then we should then start this thing up and have no issues at all. Let's see here. Man. Happy Friday, everyone. New day here. Crappy day, but tomorrow's the 4th, so it's alright. Working on this again. So, today, we finished up all that stuff last time. She drove it to work a couple days. Said it drove so much better. Now it's the transmission fluid. So we are going to get under here. I had already started by removing that screw. There's one on the other side. There's another one here. Same with the other side. And there's two in the front. After that, we're gonna take this off. Okay, I might need two hands for this. So we got that skid plate off, and now we are looking at the bottom of the transmission. We're gonna start by draining what's in there as much as we can by taking a 6mm Allen. Oh, I grabbed a 5. Figures. And then we're gonna drain that and go from there. So now that I got my 6, I'm gonna get that in there. Nice, nice. And wow, that's really tight. Get rid of that extension. There it goes. And then we're gonna drain that. Oh yeah, making a mess. Making a mess. And then after that, we're gonna knock out the overflow that's up in there. Oh, I pushed it back in. That's hot. So now that I got the pan mainly drained and I got the overflow out, I'm gonna seal the pan back up so it stops dripping everywhere and making a mess on me. And then after that, we're going to use a E10 socket, inverted Torx, which I have to go get, and we're going to drop the pan. We're going to start and try and do this evenly so we don't get transmission fluid everywhere. They have little mounts on them as well, so I'm going to place them down in the orientation that they came off in so I remember where they go. I'm going to start by doing the rears. I'm doing this old school. I forgot my impact guns at work, and I don't have any at home. Now I'm going to try and drop these middle two evenly so transmission fluid doesn't go all over me. I'm trying to get out of here. I'll remove this now, because I don't want to. I should wait for this to cool down. That's hot. So now that I dropped the pan and got transmission fluid all over me and all over the floor, we are gonna take that tranny fluid filter off and make more of a mess. And to Jess's father, whose garage I'm in, I apologize for the mess. I promise I'll clean it. So now I'm going to get out of here, clean myself up since I'm a freaking mess, and then we're going to clean that transmission pan. Ow! After I hit my head on a jack stand. I need a shower now.
Oui.
And we're going to throw this old gasket out, because we got a new one. We're also going to throw out the old overflow, because I got a new one. So now that I got the pan off and everything, we're going to take these magnets out and clean them up. They got some metal on them, but that's what the jobs of the magnets are. Catch all that stuff so it's not in the oil. We're going to clean these up, and off camera I'm going to clean the pan and everything up, and we'll be right back after that. So next, what we're going to do is we're going to take our transmission fluid filter, and we're going to come down here in this mess. And we're going to pop this into the valve body right in that hole. there it is. Boom. She's in there. After that, I popped our new overflow onto the little spot there in the tank. So next, I'm going to get back down there on the ground, unfortunately. And we're going to put our pan with everything on it back into place. And we're going to grab our E10 bolts, which I got new ones just to be safe. And we're going to put those in and tighten them to 4 Newton meters. So now that I got my pan on and everything, put all the nuts and everything, or the bolts and everything back, I'm going to tighten it down to 4 Newton meters. And I'm going to start from the center, snug them up a little bit, not going to fully torque them yet. Go around, snug everything up. And then after the center, I'm going to do a crisscross pattern. Now that I got everything snugged up, I'm going to go ahead and start from the center again and start torquing them down. So next, I'm going to get onto the car, and I got a fitting off of FCP Euro for the, it's the same thread pitch as the drain bolt, and you put that in there. And I also got this pump here, already filled with all the trans fluid, CTA Automotive, and I'm going to pump that up and pump some fluid in there. So I'm going to get under the car, I'm going to connect this to that little fitting I put under there, and from there, Jess is going to tell me when it goes down from the 6 down to the 2. And we're going to put 4 quarts in there to start. If you want to get over here, love. So we're going to make sure that's loose. We're going to pop that on our fitting. And we're going to tighten that up nice and tight there. And from there, we're going to pump. So since I got the 4 liters in there, after that, to set the proper level, I have to get the car running and get the fluid in the transmission up to operating temperature, and then add a little bit more from there. So now I'm going to start the car and use my Think Diag scanner, which connects straight to your phone, and we're going to monitor the transmission oil temperature and go from there. Got our tool in. From there, I'm going to plug it in. We're going to go to our app here, Think Diag. We're going to log in. From there, we're going to go to All System Functions. It's connecting via Bluetooth. It's finding the VIN number, etc. There it is. 2014 C-Class Benz with the VIN number. Diagnosis is starting. Confirm. And we want a system selection. Transmission control module. Make sure the ignition switch is on. We need the car running though, so I'm going to start it. We're going to read data stream. We're going to go to oil level check. Oil temperature of automatic transmission. Hit confirm. And there it is. So we're going to monitor this and we're going to let it warm up. So now that our car is at operating temperature for the oil temperature, which we can see here, it's about 115 degrees, no, about 115 degrees Fahrenheit for the oil temp of the transmission fluid. Now that we have that, we're gonna pump a little bit more in there and fill it up until it comes out of the overflow. I just need to find a drain pan. Here we are. Alright, so I put some in there, and now while the car is running, we're gonna get this out of the way and see if anything comes out of the overflow. If I could loosen it. Alright, so not that much came out. So we're gonna put this back up, tighten it, let it get a little warmer, and then we're going to pump a little more in there. Alright, let's see now. There we go, that's what we wanted. So it's going to spit out whatever is extra, and then from there we'll be good to seal up the pan. So now that I got the belly pan and everything back on, we are gonna take it off the jack stands, take it for a test drive, make sure no lights come on, no check engine, no transmission lights, none of that crazy stuff. And from there it should be good, but we're gonna go double check everything. And now I'm gonna put it in sport mode, take eco off, and we're gonna do a little ripperoonie up the road. Felt good, nice and smooth. All I got left on your car is differential fluids, and that's it. Then it'll be fully maintained for the 90,000 mile marker. Alright guys, that's it for this one. I hope you enjoyed all the little service work I did to Jess's car, and that's it. We'll see you on the next one. I hope you guys had a good time, and like, comment, subscribe, and everybody take care. And have a good 4th of July. Don't drink and drive.